We're the first generation of women to reach 50 and have 50 more years to plan for. And we're asking our bodies to do things that they actually weren't designed to do. Our hearts weren't designed to live for 3 to 5 decades without estrogen. And our bones weren't designed to live 3 to 5 decades without progesterone. We're up against decades of myths, misinformation, taboo subjects, not wanting to talk about menopause, vaginal health, vaginal dryness. Like, these are all real conversations that need to come to the table.
I'm Mary Mamalidi.
And I'm Jenny Arena.
And we're Bits and Bites.
Hormones play a major role in our mental, physical, and emotional health, and we need hormonal balance to function. Some factors, such as aging, may be beyond our control, but we can certainly take control of our nutrition when it comes to improving hormonal health. Joining us today is founder of Menopause Chicks, Shirley Weir.
We often hear about women going through, and I'm doing air quotes. You can't see me, but I'm doing air quotes, the change.
Yes.
Please tell me you hate that as much as I do.
I hate it more than you do.
Like, I say it jokingly to a couple of girlfriends, but I wouldn't say this. Like, if someone were to say to me, "Oh, you're going through the change," it's like you're using it as something bad is happening.
There's so much outdated language in this space. That's a huge struggle for me because I am a stickler with words. And I'm a stickler for words because I'm raising the next generation. And I want to draw a line in the sand. I think that my generation's job is to, crack open the conversation. My daughter and her girlfriends, they're going to actually have a solution and know that they can be empowered with as much information and technology and you name it. They'll be ahead of the curve. But right now, like I said, I'm 54. We're up against decades of myths, misinformation, taboo subjects, not wanting to talk about, menopause, vaginal health, vaginal dryness. Like, these are all real conversations that need to come to the table.
And this goes back again, decades of, if a man or even a woman says to me, "Oh, you must be PMSing," you're basically saying that I'm bitchy.
It's so true. I heard a story the other day about a dad preparing his daughter to get her period, and he wanted to know what to put in the period kit. And so he went out and bought some Midol.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, on one hand, congrats, Dad. Way to go. I know you're doing the best job that you can do. And on the other hand, I'm like, do dogs take Midol? Do other mammals take Midol? Or is that just a human thing? Do we just tell every 12-year-old girl, expect pain? And it's kind of fascinating to me how many times throughout our life cycles that we tell women, expect pain. If a woman is pregnant, we throw her a baby shower. We congratulate her. We adore all of the amazing things about turning into a mother. We don't say, oh, you know what? It's all about poopy diapers. That's all you can expect. We don't hone in on the negative. But then when you fast forward to perimenopause and menopause, a lot of the language and the paradigms around that time in a woman's life, which should be celebrated. I threw myself a party and invented a cocktail just to prove that point. But, why should we only talk about the negatives? And if it is negative, if a woman is suffering, I see her. I want to meet her where she is, but I also want to remind her that she's smart and she's savvy and there are viable solutions. She's not meant to suffer. We're the first generation of women to reach 50 and have 50 more years to plan for. Our bodies were designed to die at 50. 100 years ago, our grandmothers and great-grandmothers did die at age 50. But now our generation is like, hey, I want to live to be 100. And we're asking our bodies to do things that they actually weren't designed to do. Like, our hearts weren't designed to live for 3 to 5 decades without estrogen. And our bones weren't designed to live 3 to 5 decades without progesterone. So those are things that are just really important to me. And so I actually started bioidentical hormone therapy when I was 48 years old. And I view that as an investment in my heart health, my brain health, my bone health, and my vaginal health.
Also with us today is hormone nutritionist Alex King. Together, she and Shirley are going to help us do a little myth busting in a round of fact or fiction. Okay, so first question. Can pesticides in produce, hormones in milk, and antibiotics in meat lead to an early menstrual cycle?
Fact.
Oh, wow, really?
Yes, studies have shown girls nowadays are getting their periods younger and younger, and then in their teens, they're developing earlier and earlier.
Wow.
And so this is typically due to all those xenoestrogens that are in the environment, herbicides, pesticides, perfumes, plastics, and guess what? Baby bottles are made out of plastic. So we're giving all these hormones, all these synthetic hormones to our kids very, very, very young.
Shirley, fact or fiction? Menopause starts at age 50.
Myth. Menopause is one day. It marks the 12-month anniversary of your very last period. The average age in North America of menopause is 51.2. I was 49. Perimenopause is the phase of life leading up to that day that's different for everyone. And just like puberty, you don't actually know when you've entered perimenopause because it's a phase of life where your body's preparing for menopause.
Soy causes feminization in men.
Yes, this is a fact. It definitely depends on a few things. If you're going to be eating soy, I would make sure it's organic, make sure it's fermented. So I would go for an organic tempeh, and then make sure you're not eating it all the time. If you eat it all day, every day as your source of protein, it definitely can impact your system.
Male menopause, fact or fiction?
The reality is that men do experience hormone shifts, but it is absolutely not like a woman's experience. Woman's experience is quite dramatic and includes fluctuations. Men's hormone decline is very slow, and it's called andropause.
Testosterone is the male hormone.
Fiction, 100%. Testosterone actually peaks in a women's menstrual cycle right around ovulation. And this is what increases women's libido, making them want to try for pregnancy.
Okay, last question. Fact or fiction? When you enter this new stage of life, your sex life is over.
Myth. Oh my gosh. Women over 50 are having so much sex and sometimes even with a partner.
I love that.
Love that.
How often do hormones fluctuate throughout our lifetime? And are there dietary factors to consider for each of these fluctuations?
Okay, starting off with a really good question. So when we say hormones, I'm mostly going to focus on our reproductive and our sex hormones. So on a smaller level for women of that reproductive age, our sex hormones fluctuate all throughout the month to accommodate the 4 phases that we have of our menstrual cycle. Particularly, it might sound very familiar. You'll know ovulation and, of course, our period. And then in terms of more of those like big hormonal changes or events that happen throughout our entire lifetime, our hormones change from puberty to pregnancy to menopause. And then other than that, our hormones can change and cause tons of different hormone imbalances at any point in our life. So it changes from day to day. And then that second half of the question, I'm a really, really, really big fan of individualized nutrition. But for the sake of just overall, in terms of keeping our hormones nice and balanced, is to keep this rule of thumb in mind. So at every meal or snack, aim to include a source of fiber, protein, healthy fat, and color. So you might think, okay, I don't know what that is or how to incorporate that. So if we break it down into a recipe, let's say we're doing a salad. So our fiber could be our romaine, let's say. And then our protein could be grilled chicken. Our healthy fat could be a balsamic and olive oil dressing. And then we do have the color from the lettuce, but I say the more color, the better. So we could throw in maybe like some roasted beets, shredded carrots, really just any veggies you like. So keep that rule of thumb every meal and snack.
What about pregnancy? Those pregnancy cravings, like, that whole stereotype of pickles and ice cream.
Yes. I mean, I don't know if I would do pickles and ice cream, but I'm sure it's been done. So with the pregnancy cravings, it's entirely different. And studies actually don't really know, but they can attribute it they can attribute it to just changes in our hormones that are changing pretty rapidly. And also something called neuropeptide Y, which is a potent appetite stimulant. And then potentially also heightened sense of smell and taste, and also potentially nutritional deficiencies. So every time we have a deficiency, we crave specific things. So I'll just throw you an example. So if we have a deficiency in magnesium, we will actually crave chocolate.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
What are some common causes for hormonal imbalances?
Definitely. So stress 100% will affect your hormones and cause hormone imbalance. Toxins and xenoestrogens. So xeno is just a form of environmental estrogen. So this could be air pollution, chemicals, gasoline you fill your car up with, any perfumes, if you wear perfumes, plastic, cleaning products, bleach, all that. Number 3, food 100%, sleep, and medication. So those would be just some general things that we are exposed to every day that can imbalance our hormones. Specifically for food that can throw off your hormones would be if you're eating non-organic foods, so anything sprayed with herbicides and pesticides. Sugar will definitely throw off your blood sugar balance, which will throw off hormones. And then any factory farmed foods and meats, dairy, white bread and pasta, alcohol, soy, and coffee.
Ooh, coffee. You hit a nerve.
Yeah.
Coffee.
I threw it in there last. I should maybe snuck it in the middle. Yeah.
So we don't want to exclude our male listeners here or the male community listening. So we just wanted to ask, do men's hormones also change with age? And are there symptoms of male hormonal imbalance?
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, 100%. We don't want to exclude our men. And similarly, it's funny, men's health is so much less complicated than women, but they do go through hormonal changes as well. So definitely at puberty, hormones like testosterone can increase and then levels start to decline, typically around 40 years old. And then male hormone imbalance looks like brain fog, depression, erectile dysfunction, fatigue, hair loss, loss of muscle mass, low sex drive, and weight gain. So kind of similar to women, but also different.
So Shirley, what would you include if you were going to put together a menopause checklist to help people plan for their next 50?
Eat, move, sleep, manage stress, check your iron level, make sure you're not iron deficient, have your thyroid checked, take magnesium because most North Americans are deficient. We all need magnesium and it's so important to our mood and to our sleep. And then get informed. Don't make health decisions based on hearsay. Get informed, build a health team, get as much information as you can, because that's going to empower you to choose the journey that's right for you.
Join us next week as we take another bite out of this important subject and look at what investments we can make in our long-term hormonal health. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe to Bits and Bites on your favorite podcast player, and be sure to leave us a review and a star rating. We'd like to thank our editor, Matt Agnew, and remind all of you to take a little time to chew, chat, and chuckle. That affect many aspects. I already screwed up.
Okay, let's try this again.
Take 2.